First of all, hello everybody. My name is Matthew Tyler DeLeo, better known as SonicMTD, and welcome to tonight's very different, very special, there we go, I've jumped back, very special sort of live stream where we are going to be talking with people. I have never done VRChat, so I am kind of just learning as I go along. I do have a VTuber avatar, which is incredibly basic, which I got off of a Vroid and then converted that into Unity, and then sort of like gone from Unity into now VRChat, and there's still a lot I do not know. So hopefully in due time, as I get more and more familiar with the software, we can go and learn some new stuff. But yeah, I'm just trying my best to just sort of get back into the swing of things. This is my own, well, I mean, someone else made this sort of thing, but this is kind of like my homepage while I wait for Kuro to sort of give me a little run through notifications. I'd like you to join them. Cool, I will meet them there. I have jumped in. Haha. I am a professional. Oh, hey, Wrath.
Oh, hi, Sonic.
I had a feeling that this was going to be foobar completely, but I was just like, you know what? If I jump onto my Discord server and bring you in, you'd be able to at least chat with me, and we'd be able to go with that. Maybe Kuro would join in. Oh, this is a very lovely independent server. I like this. Nice beachfront property. Kuro, wherefore art thou? Oh! Here we are. A lovely summertime beach. Hello, Kuro.
Hey,
let me just sit down.
Our precious goblin.
I'm going to be asking questions. First of all, I guess I'm in the crouching animation. Is there not a sit function on this software? I've got no boobs. Look down. I see my character's avatar. I have chest. I have no boobs. I am flat. Sorry. Hi, Kuro. I do not know how to properly do this. This is going to be a very interesting fuck up, but we are going to go from here. First of all, pleasure to be here. Cool to finally bring this on to VRChat. I know, I am very basic. I can't stay for long, but I hope you have a good night. So yeah, we've got people that are going to be on your chat that are going to be tuning in. They'll be asking questions. I will try my best to sort of bring what they ask onto the chat as well and see where we go from here. But let's get to the very basics. I always like to do sort of like lead in. You tell us a little bit about yourself, and then I start asking you some questions about your background and sort of going in from there. So, Kuro, for the people that are in the chat who, even though they do know who you are, could you possibly explain to the viewership who you are and
sure.
what you do?
Yeah, so, hi, I'm Kuro Nightly. I stream, on Twitch, and,
You're gonna have to turn them up a little bit, Sonic.
I'm doing it now.
Barely. Okay.
I do Monster Girl 101 lessons on how to domesticate monster girls, and it's something I've done for the last 3 years, just about. Other than that, I'm just kind of mostly a VRChat streamer. I kind of just get on and chill with everybody around, and we have a good time. Yeah, I've been doing it for quite a while now, at least.
Yeah, because
it's a lot of fun.
I did a little bit of like a check, because one of the things I usually do whenever I...
Yeah, because I did.
Oh, I'm getting a background echo. What is that? Anyway.
Oh.
That might be on your
That was
end.
me.
Oh, that...
I can't hear. I
That's
can't hear him
Wrath.
through Discord.
Sorry, Wrath is also in the vocal chat. You might want to turn down the volume a little bit there, Wrath. No, but Whenever I bring someone in to interview who is a content creator in the creator space, I always do like a little bit of checking. So according to Social Blade, you started your channel in February 2020, and it appears that you didn't really get into the streaming space until, I want to say, 2003. March...
Whoa. 2003? That's...
Oh, sorry. March 2023, sorry. You started...
Yeah, okay, that's much better.
Sorry, I swear I'm a professional. I guess it's past my bedtime.
It's alright.
But yeah, you got your start February 2020. It appears that you started streaming in March 2023. And the major question, did you always kind of know that you wanted to go down this route, like of doing VRChat? Like, how do you get into... Yeah, shut up, Wrath. I made a mistake. But how do you get into wanting to go down this road? Like, how did the wheels get turning, so to speak?
To be honest, well, to start, I guess, I had a lot of friends that actually streamed VRChat. Primarily my good friend Amy, who streamed. I'd been in VRChat since 2017, and so like originally, my background with VRChat was mostly just me getting on and hanging out until I started going to a few clubs and stuff like that and some social groups in VR, and like I started to get a little bit into like the whole like EDM space of VRChat as well, and just kind of meeting a bunch of people that way.
Gotcha.
And so like originally I had a lot of fun kind of just like getting to know some people and kind of seeing how people are outside of VR as well. But when it came to me getting started with Twitch, it mostly was just kind of on a whim. I knew a few of the people who had been streaming prior to my start, and so they kind of like egged me on to do it until, oh, you'd be pretty decent at it, you should give it a try. So I was like, you know what, why not? Like, I've got nothing to lose, right? So I tried it for a little bit. I ended up really liking it, and I ended up liking it so much that it actually affected my work outside of VR. I ended up taking like a lower position at my job because I was like, you know what, I want to see how far I can actually get with streaming. So I kind of swapped my schedule around IRL so that I can make sure that I was able to stream. And it ended up becoming like a lot of fun. I treated it more like kind of just like me getting on and hanging out with a bunch of friends and stuff every night. That's very much how I still kind of see it too.
VRChat for me kind of reminds me a little bit, like, to some degree, Second Life or PlayStation Home, but it has...
Yeah, you'd hear that a lot. In fact, even my partner now, they the only reason why they got into VRChat originally was because of all the people that had came from Second Life that they had known. There's still a lot of people that have come from Second Life to like VRChat, like even now. And I feel like they're very interchangeable as social spaces.
I think if I had VRChat back when I was like, I want to say maybe about just when I was fresh out of college, I probably would have been much bigger on the space than what I am now, because I'm kind of just sitting there going like, it's there, but Discord is where I primarily hang and do my own thing at least.
I see.
So
yeah, no, that makes sense.
No, keep going if you want.
Oh, I was just going to say, yeah, honestly, Discord I feel like was pretty much the biggest game changer, I feel like, for a lot of like the online social spaces like VRChat too. I feel like things like Discord go hand in hand with things like Second Life and VRChat, to be honest. I don't think a lot of social spaces when it comes to VRChat could really function the way that they do now if it wasn't for Discord. Yeah, so it kind of ties everything together, I feel like.
So if you don't mind me asking, because first of all, I'm always sort of fascinated to figure out, you know, how do people get from point A to point B, and it's always good to start with the minutia, the little parts. Why did you choose Kuro Nightly? What is the significance of that username, if you don't mind me asking?
To be honest, Kuro Nightly is kind of like that is like honestly the third iteration, second iteration of my, I guess, my name. Because Kuro stayed the same But before it was actually Crow Coffee Bun. I wanted to move away from the whole like bunny identity because it's kind of what people had started associating with me a lot. But Kuro Nightly was more of a thing that I wanted to do something that, or I wanted to have a name, I guess, that represented more of like what I was trying to do and just kind of the vibe that I was trying to bring when it came to streaming and just kind of how I like operate in social spaces with people. So I felt like it just, I don't know, it rings a little bit better to me. So there isn't a really deep reason other than the fact that I think it just really fits.
So, if you don't mind me asking, because I watched your most recent live stream, the one that you have saved, and I will be asking you some questions because I found out some really genuinely interesting and intriguing backstory information about you, which I will be asking. But you have a wide variety of VTuber models. You have the one that you have in front of me. You have another one where you're in like a suit. You have another one where you have the sort of goth kind of setup. Were all of these models originally made by you, or did you go to an artist first and then eventually get better?
No, I normally there like I know a few people that work on models and stuff. I primarily I will go to artists that create models or like at least buy a base for the model and then either have somebody that I know who's really good with textures and stuff, or like they're really good at working on models in Blender. I'll normally just go to people that I think are just a little bit better than me to work on stuff because I know that they can bring my vision more to life. Yeah, so I just commission them. It's a bit easier on my part because I know that doing things in Unity and Blender is like it destroys your psyche, and I'm just like, I don't have a whole lot of time throughout the day, so that's usually what I do. I do have I have a few models that I've been working on in the background too, though, because I try to get things to fit like at least some of the lore that I try to go with for my channel.
And so you do what I think is you do full body mapping when you do your stuff, because you were doing one where you were on steps or whatever recently, and I was just sitting there going
when I was on my I was walking on the treadmill, yeah.
So
but yeah, I mean, I've got full body. I'm wearing it right now.
So what exactly do you do for the full body tracking? Because I've done hand tracking, which is like a small little motion sensor, and there's many different ways. Like, are you using like handsets? Like, how exactly are you able to get this animation quality I can do without looking at your unmentionables? Sorry.
I mean, it's fairly. It's pretty accessible now. Even when it comes to like full body trackers, like there's slime trackers now too. I use the HTC Vive. So I've got Vive trackers, and then I have an Index, which I mean you can still get it off of Steam for a fairly easy price, but my setup is basically just two base stations. I've got my Vive trackers on, and then I have the controllers that are given to you through the when you get your headset, your Index. And so like my setup is basically just that. I've got two base stations in each corner of my room. I have my trackers on, one on my waist. I have two on my legs, and then I have my controllers. And that's basically how I'm able to move around in the yard. It's fairly standard, to be honest. There are a lot better options nowadays, but this is just what I'm used to using.
Well, that's kind of the nature of the beast. Like, it's one of those things where you're kind of just sitting there going like, hey, this is top of the line for its time. I'm going to learn how to use this, get better with it, and then if new things come along, maybe, just maybe I might learn that, but if not, I'm going to use what I use. So I dig it. If you don't mind me asking,
you should definitely look into it. It's more than affordable now. Some the slime trackers at least are like, I think they're about like $50 each. I got mine when mine were like $70 to $80 each, but now it's a lot more affordable. You can get 3 for $150.
That's fair.
So it's pretty.
I'm just going to very briefly turn to the chat. Wrath, I'm not going to add Kuro to the Discord call, because if I do that, then there's going to be like an echo between their voice when they respond, because we'll be getting audio from two sources, one being the Discord call.
If I can always mute. If you'd rather mute,
Okay.
it might be better for clarity if I'm in the call, because if you invite me in there, I can mute in here, and then there won't be any you won't hear double audio from me. It might be easier that way.
Sure, if you want, then I can just invite you very briefly. Give me a second. I'll just go on to Discord. Quickly popping up
Go
my
for it, yeah.
menu. La la la. Okay. SonicMTD's Ghost Town. Invite to the server. Sent. We're in the plain voice chat lobby if you do want to accept going through that way.
Okay, give me one moment.
Yeah, take your time. I'm just enjoying the background. What is that sound effect?
Oh my god, they hit the, whatchamacallit, the soundboard.
They have a soundboard?
Yes, if you got like a Discord.
Oh
like,
no,
they're
I just have an entrance on Discord. I forgot about that actually. Yeah, I haven't changed that. I have a VC entrance. Like
I always wondered if someone could do that. Let's do that now.
So very briefly, Shy Guy 69 asked, what prompted this interview, and was it Wrath? And the answer to this is yes, it was most certainly Wrath.
Of course it was me. Everything that happens here is because of me.
I started doing this podcast originally just to meet new people, and Wrath, ever since I met them on Discord, has been sitting there going, hey, do you want to get into podcasting? And then that led to us doing a New Year's Day game review thing. And then from that, it led to him meeting Spooky Deer, and then now it has led to Kuro. So this is a great way of meeting new online users, as well as just sort of dealing with the chaos of modern technology, and my Amish ass has to learn how to do shit.
Learn.
So if you don't mind me asking, I know that Wrath is incredibly thirsty for goblins. I'm wondering, why did you decide to go with a goblin as a model in per se?
Because the real reason is because it actually just fit the vibe of what I was trying to do more. I felt like a goblin fit kind of the aesthetic for all of the Monster Girl stuff I was doing. Plus goblins are cute. I really did want to be a goblin, because before originally I was this incredibly niche thing. I wanted my character to be kind of like a rabbit. So my character was something called an Almirage, but that honestly, it's so niche, people don't really know what that is. So I was like, you know what? I would rather be a goblin. It really is that simple. There really isn't anything else to that other than the fact that I think goblins are cute. At least, well, these kind of goblins, not like goblins from like Goblin Slayer or anything.
Yeah. Obviously, we're going into hentai territory now, because I don't recall goblins being as tall as your character model. It is crossing into orc territory almost.
In reality, this my character is actually pretty small. I've got it set to about 4 feet right now.
Really?
So
Jesus, how small is my character model, if that's the case?
Yeah.
I'm like, in real life, I'm 5'11", and I'm like, I guess this is my height?
By default. See, because if I stand up and I'm placed off the ground a little bit, too. There we go. Yeah, we're about the same height.
Okay.
See?
So
this is actually 4 feet. Yeah.
I am a very short guy. Okay, I am a short king right now. I need to change that next time You didn't tell me this, Wrath. Anyway,
it's by default.
Short boy.
But it's like that by default. This is how it is.
Gotcha. So the questions that I have going in, because once again I watched your stream last time for the most recent one, and you have a very interesting and dynamic skill set. one that kind of
Oh God, don't. All right, okay, I'm sorry, I cut you off. What were we? Go ahead and continue.
So you have experience as an EMT.
That's not what I expected you to ask me, but yeah.
I most
I did a
definitely
few
can ask
ride-alongs.
further, but
Oh God.
trust me, if you give me enough time, I can find out just about anything.
That's really funny that you brought that up, actually.
Well, so how do you go from like EMT, and I know you were trying to get into like firefighting, doing engineering stuff, working on engines and stuff like that. I'm like, who the hell is this person?
I'm so surprised.
I'm
that
literally
you
just finding this
know
out,
that.
and I
Wow, that is crazy that you know that, actually. What the hell? I'm actually surprised. Unless I talked about that and didn't realize that I did. But that is really funny that you found that out.
that is literally the first time I'm hearing this. Sonic, I am somewhat scared of you.
You should
back
be.
in like 2016, I was like, I was attempting to work hydraulics on a fire engine because I wanted to be a engineer on a fire company. But that was, God, I'm just surprised that you know that.
I listened
told you
to
that.
Well, so you did on one of your live streams. One of the things that
Oh, okay, I did bring it up.
you did bring it up. You brought it up in an audio format, but I think most people forgot, A, because Wrath was possibly not on the chat at the time, and B, everyone was ogling your body movements, where I'm like, no. I am not going to be charmed by your feminine wiles. I came here for information, goddammit.
Damn it!
I can respect
Didn't work.
that, at least.
So
I mean,
when you were doing work as an EMT, did you do like shadowing, or like was it just part of a program and then you graduate and then you move on to the next thing? Like how exactly did that work out?
So originally I was shadowing the paramedics. I was doing ride-alongs and stuff like that because I was trying to get into the Venice Fire Academy because my father's friends with the captain in Venice, and so like I had gotten a bunch of referrals to go there, and like I had passed like my CPAT and stuff earlier on in that year, so I was doing a bunch of ride-alongs just to get more experience before I actually was gonna go down there. I made a really dumb decision though, which is kind of why that's part of the story just kind of ends
Abruptly
around there. Yeah. But I will say this though, if it wasn't for some of the choices that I made after that whole incident, it's kind of personal, but after that whole thing that happened, if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be like this Kuro. I really don't think I would be.
First of all, hello, Artie Werebear. Welcome to the chat. So
Hey, Artie.
The one thing though I often find, because whenever I speak to someone in the medical field, when you were out there shadowing them, the one thing I always know is that they're running on next to no hours of sleep. Like I look at them and go, have you slept today, or is this another 24-hour long shift? Were you doing like sort of the nightmare graveyard shifts, or were you part of the ambulance crew?
Yeah, I did do some of the nightmare graveyard shifts, and I didn't see anything that was super crazy except like one thing, which was like this guy, and the thing is like I wasn't even really allowed to go and interact because they didn't want me to, but there was this guy who was like, I guess he was overdosing on PCP, and he was kind of just raging in the street, and they were trying to like subdue him. They had to call like the police and everything too. And so I was just kind of sitting in the ambulance, just like they didn't want me to go out and do anything. That's about as crazy as it got. Most of it was just kind of like bringing in a lot of elderly people and just stuff like that. It's pretty calm out where I am, so
Were you
I didn't really see
trained?
anything too crazy.
Were you trained in how to respond to people that were dealing with overdoses? Because I know that there is a
Yeah,
huge opioid crisis. Well,
yeah.
still is going on, but I would assume you would have been
It's
trained.
yeah. I during the time that I was doing, they did train us to kind of like I guess handle a lot of people who were doing a lot of drugs and stuff. Because in the area that where I'm at, there was a lot of like meth labs and drug busts and stuff.
Hmm.
Because it goes further out, like up north is further out towards like the desert,
Yeah.
closer to the Mojave. So
Hmm.
there were a lot of like people who were doing some pretty illegal stuff. However, we didn't really see much. Like we were trained to handle a lot of people like that, but
Hmm.
we didn't really see a whole lot. It was actually really boring, I'm gonna be honest with you.
It's better to have something that's boring than something where you're constantly stressed out and feeling life or death. Like sometimes
Yeah.
you want to be in that because you don't want to go back home and I'm like, did I just inadvertently kill a guy? You kind of you're just sitting there going like, please, let's pray that the next day is better than the previous one. Um,
Hmm.
so let's go. You've told me a bit about your EMT stuff, and then you wanted to do engineering with firefighting after the EMTing, or was it before?
Yeah. It was after. It's just we had a minimum amount of hours that we were required to have
Hmm.
doing ride-alongs before we were able to move on to the next thing. At least from like where we are out here, Orange County does things a little differently. Another funny experience that I had while I was out doing some training was they had us lay out 1,500 yards of fire hose up
Hmm.
in the mountains near the crest. If you know where like Big Bear is at, there's actually there's a prison camp up there that they use, because I don't know if you guys know this, but they use inmates for some
Volunteer
like forest
firefighting.
calls.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so they took us to one of those camps out there, and I felt really weird because when we had made it to that camp, we were going to use some of their equipment. So the bus that dropped us all off there while we were with our instructor, like kind of just like left us there. So we're in the middle of this like jail yard with the like these huge guys just like fucking lifting weights and shit, and they see like all these like, they see all these young like dudes come out, and they all just started gathering in yard. In the yard. It's like almost like 400 to like 500 like inmates, and they don't come near us or anything, but they all just start gathering around. Like just
Hmm.
it was very awkward. It was very awkward, but the whole point was that we were learning how to like lay out hose and stuff like that. So we had to do this team drill where they were laying out. We had to lay out a one like 1,500 yards of hose across like this mountain, and it was really agonizing. But I mean, it was a good experience. So
That's a lot of hose. I'm
A lot of
yeah,
those.
yeah,
sorry. Mind in the gutter. But so that's once again, I find it really fascinating because you have this sort of interesting background going from ENT to firefighting to then wanting to get into, like, for example, doing VTubing and all of that. It seems like you have a
Well,
no.
there's a huge like time skip between
Okay.
that though, because well, after all of that happened, like I said, it's a little personal.
Yeah,
I won't
I'm
talk
going
too
to
much
try my
about
best
it.
not to dox you. That's not my name of the
No,
game.
no, it's all right. Like I don't really mind talking about it's. So basically, it kind of involves like somebody who I was currently like seeing. I had been
Mm-hmm.
with them for a couple of years, and it's a long story. I made a really
Yeah.
dumb decision, and it kind of like screwed over like a lot of what I had worked for.
Mm.
Basically that thrown out of I got like excommunicated with my family and all this other crazy shit. It's a
Oh
long
dear.
story, but basically, I during that time I ended up getting into like a a fishing company, and like I started like cutting fish for like this supply chain called Aquarius Foods, and for the longest time, for about like 4 years to like 5 years, minus the last two, I was basically a fishmonger, cutting a bunch of game fish like Dorado, steelhead, ahi tuna, and marlins, things like that.
See, now I'm imagining you in that Simpsons episode where Bart is like cutting open fish, the knife goes in, the guts come out. And that's like you for 8 hours a day in the
Yeah, and the funniest thing is like that was me, and like I'm like this really like prissy like person, and everybody else I worked with in there is like a fucking lumberjack. They're all like 6'4" with like beards, and they have like wives and shit. And it was really funny because they would ask me some of the most like funny. They'd ask me such funny questions. The guy that I worked, or my department lead, was this like older guy who was like, they were never disrespectful or mean to me or anything like that, but they called me Sunshine, and I'd come in every morning because I have like my hair is really long, and so like I'd have to come in and like tie my hair up, and I'd wear like 3 fucking hairnets and put my coat on and stuff, and like I'd come into the morning and be like, "Oh, good morning, Sunshine." I'm like, "Dude, fuck you!" Like
you've got that natural feminine swagger, I guess.
Yeah.
So if you don't mind me asking, I'm trying my best to sort of we've talked a little bit about the backstory. Let's talk about you on the platform. Now, you haven't been you started the channel in like 2020. You started streaming in 2023. Did you know that this is how you wanted to go, or did you just kind of fall and sort of learn as you went along?
No. So originally, when I had started streaming, I kind of had this plan where it was just I wanted to originally be kind of like a variety streamer.
Okay.
I wanted to do all these different things and stuff, but then I realized like at the time when I was like streaming really consistently and stuff, it was it was working out for me for a while, and I'm like, what, I really just like VRChat. And usually when I would stray away from it, like my numbers would dip. I think it had something to do with like how I was like kind of like connecting with everybody, and people just like to see me move around and stuff. Like they just want to see me dance and act crazy and just say stuff or whatever. But I was having a lot of fun, and so that's kind of what I wanted to do. Is like every night I would come home, and this would kind of be like how I would like let out some stress, and it's like I would have a good time with everybody. As far as like the direction of where my stuff has been at now compared to how it is back then, it is pretty different. It's fairly different. I've had more of a vision for some of the other things I'd like to do outside of just kind of like getting on and just kind of hanging out and stuff. But it honestly, like that whole thing does kind of, I guess it has driven a bit of a wedge through my consistency too. Regardless though, if I didn't do all of that stuff, I wouldn't be where I'm at now, I suppose.
That's fair. I was going to ask, how do you deal with creator burnout? Because I know that it's... Yeah. Because I'm on the YouTube space primarily, so I don't have... I only show up on Twitch if I'm either just want to play with some friends, or if I'm getting footage to be used in a YouTube video review. But with Twitch, you have to consistently be on to build up an audience. Exactly. That's the thing. And on top of that, the algorithm for Twitch is not kind to people who take long breaks or just aren't around. And I mean, that's to, it is to the, your detriment if you do decide to just kind of like disappear for a little bit, or you want like a little bit of space, which I feel like it is deserved. It's just, I think the real problem is when you don't couple it with something like YouTube is when it does become kind of a problem. And that's kind of the problem that I've had in recent times as well too, is that like this is, my own audience's main way of seeing me and kind of communicating with me outside of Discord. So like when I'm not consistent, I can expect, them not to be consistent. And I don't blame anybody, or I'm not upset about it or mad about it or anything like that. It's just kind of how it goes.
when it comes to burnout, I guess a lot of the times I try to work on other things. I'm always like trying to work on projects outside of streaming and stuff because I do work on a lot. Recently, I've been working on a lot of tabletop stuff, and that's been really fun. I've had a lot of fun with that, and I've gotten to get out a lot of my ideas and stuff like that. But I also kind of need that time to just kind of relax and work on something like that casually outside of being around a bunch of people because it's just kind of how I detox. It's how I just kind of like get a lot of stress out. Because
Sorry, go on.
yeah. Oh no, you're fine. I was just gonna say it's because like I work to keep my own place afloat. It's kind of what I have to do. So some days like I work and I have to work longer hours and I'll get home and I'm just burnt out some days. It's just kind of how it is. But I just keep going. It's I'm just used to it now.
I'm glad that you're in at least a better space because so outside of this, I have too many fucking side projects. And one of the things I'm sitting there is like, I also sing in a rock band, and I'm like, if I don't make a YouTube or Instagram or TikTok reel at least a couple times a month, I will pull my hair out because then the algorithm's going to fucking bury me. So I completely
exactly.
get it.
Yeah.
But I also know that you mentioned that you're doing many different side projects. I remember as well in one of your streams you were talking about like doing D&D with some of the members of your group. So that's also.
Oh yeah. Shy Guy was running our D&D campaigns for a while too. He's in chat right now.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, he was running our D&D campaigns for a while. Some stuff happened. I think we haven't really played in a long time, but just some stuff happened. It's always like, it's always scheduling and personal stuff when it comes to tabletops. Outside of D&D, I was also playing a lot of Lancer and Salvage Union 2. I play those consistently every Tuesday. So
I've got a little bit Tabletop of Simulator or Roll D20?
Roll20 for D&D and Foundry for everything else.
Okay.
Foundry is kind of like my go-to right now because it's what I'm working in a lot of the times. It's very convenient. It's very convenient. People upload stuff. There's a lot of really like user-friendly like modules and things you can upload that automates a lot of it. So it's useful. I like learning tech stuff. I like kind of learning systems like that. So it's been a lot of fun. It's just kind of what I like to do outside of I don't know, being present for everybody, I guess.
Well, you have a very technical and analytical mindset, at least from what I gathered with the whole wanting to work on fire engines. And I think you in the video you were talking about like, trying to learn how much pressure would be used for individual fires and things like that.
Right.
Jesus fucking Christ, you have to know that amount of math and ballparking.
You have to calculate, you've got to calculate pressures for how much water you're pumping through the engine, because there's a lot of things that can actually go wrong when you're calculating engine pressure. It's not primarily the amount of water that you're pulling out or how fast the water is being pulled out of the hose. It's everything that's going through the engine, because there's a lot of gauges that'll kind of give you different readings on things, but a lot of the times the pressure itself, it kind of like preemptively will change before the gauge actually reads properly. That's just kind of a natural thing of working on a fire engine too. So calculating the engine pressure is really important. I wouldn't like say it's anything similar to like doing like a quadratic formula or anything like that. But it's its own kind of difficult, I guess.
It's like my backstory. So I have a very interesting and very fucked up work backstory. But one of the things that I was trained to do was being a bus driver for my local transit authority. And they would tell me about the air brake tanks and which ones, like how you have to basically air them out at the beginning of each shift, and if you don't, then sludge builds up in one of them, and that can eventually cause wear, tear, and damage on the vehicle itself, and that can impact the life of the vehicle as well as impact the safety of the passengers that you're picking up. So I can only imagine the insanity that is involved with fire engines and proper maintenance and making sure. The thing I also noticed about you, technically wise, and I've only joined in a couple times on your Discord channel. Primarily, I'm just there because Wrath invited me down, and he's like, "Oh yeah, this is this. This is this."
Is it always because of that? Is it always because of Wrath?
Surprisingly, this time it was because I was sitting there.
95%. 95% it is me.
Oh my god!
Because he invited me down. He's like, "Oh yeah, I found this really cool shit posting server," and I'm like, "All right, cool. I know I'm a partial reformed degen. I can share inappropriate memes."
Reformed. You're never reformed if you're a DJ.
Shush, I am on my best behavior right now.
Whatever. No, you're not. I can tell. I can.
But I
can
showed
only
up.
imagine what you say when Wrath is there with you and it's just the two of you.
Oh dear Lord. Anyway, but I was
Nothing
wandering.
too crazy.
I was wandering around the Discord server, and I'm like, all right, well, I don't know who Kuro is, and Wrath is like, oh, you got to look up Kuro, and the first thing I see is a shot of your ass, and I'm like, God damn it, is Wrath thirsty? He makes the Pacific Ocean look like the fucking Grand Canyon. Get this man a bottle of water, cause Jesus fucking Christ, Wrath. But going back to, you know, the analytical mindset, I also say this because you're a gamer that I would very much not want to play in a fighting game, because I get the feeling like you would wreck the absolute shit out of whatever game that you're playing. I'm just sitting there watching you casually one night, and I'm just like, holy fuck.
Right, that's right. You joined while I was playing Undernight and stuff. That's right. I forgot about that. That's right. You did join.
I don't join much because normally I'm doing like a project or so, but every once in a while I'm like, you know what? Let's drop by and just see how everyone's kind of hanging. Obviously, with you being sort of a Twitch VRChat personality, a fellow degen of my own heart, you will get people that are in your server or people that are part of your chat that have what's the best way to say this? Not able to fully read the room, so to speak. And kind of.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I'm curious, like, without naming names, without sharing horror stories, like, how do you balance that? Because I know that there's some people that have lost fan bases over, like, dealing with problematic users and how...
That's a very fair question, actually. You know, the funniest part about that is, again, I won't also name any names, but there are very much some people that I you know, I've kept around that it's caused not a problem, at least not to me, but for other people, where they've complained about certain individuals being around and stuff like that, because those same people will be in their communities and then all of a sudden not be in their communities for the exact reasons that, you know, that you're talking about now. But for me, it's like, I kind of feel like most people should get a fair shake. I've dealt with some of the worst kinds of people that want to come in and just cause problems, or like, honestly, they're just problems for themselves as well. I try to give everybody the benefit of the doubt, and I do kind of understand who does things maliciously and who doesn't. And as far as that's the case on my end, it doesn't bother me that much, because I feel like, you know, a lot of people who do that kind of stuff, they don't themselves mean to be kind of abrasive to everybody else or kind of push people away. So they don't mean that. And I mean, I know some people take it that way. I feel like if it's not that big of a deal, I don't really sweat over it. So to me, like, everybody's welcome to come by, as long as you're not a problem for anybody else. Then I don't have to rain the hammer down on you. I don't like having to regulate people. They, you know,
so
it's just kind of how it goes.
My background one of the things that I did post graduation is so my background is in media journalism, which is cool because I get to use my skills here. But I was brought to the convention scene as a media liaison, and one of the things that you do is you get to experience the type of people that show up to anime conventions and things like that. And there's a lot of people who don't have social norms. They're not bad people. They just haven't really learned the ins and outs of what it takes to be a human without being cringy, without being told, hey, you probably shouldn't do that because it would make other people uncomfortable, or just because it's okay with you and your friends doesn't mean that it's appropriate there at a con scene with people who have no idea who the fuck you are. So I dig it.
Yeah, and that's totally fair, to be honest. I'm in May. I'm gonna be going down to a con too. I'm primarily going just to meet some of my friends and stuff that I haven't seen, IRL yet. So that's kind of my whole reason to go. The con itself is not my kind of thing. It's a furry con.
Okay.
Again, nothing wrong with that. But I'm mostly just going to see I'm going to meet some friends of mine that I've never met before, and that's kind of the real reason I'm gonna go. Yeah. Other than that, yeah, I'm just going to see some friends. But I'm well prepared for a lot of the people that I know I'm going to see, because I know that there's probably going to be a few people that have difficulty reading rooms. I know for a fact. Come on, you already know.
Yeah,
it's like it's just kind of how it goes. Like the more accepting a group is of people, a lot of people tend to come in, and some people feel very comfortable, and sometimes they feel a little too comfortable.
Yeah.
And when they feel too comfortable, then they kind of push boundaries, but you just have to let some people know, because I know that some people don't mean it all the time. It's just, it's just kind of how they are. So
I dig it. So I have met a couple people that followed me online, and I didn't expect them originally, and then my band would do a concert. I'd make an announcement on like whatever social media platform saying, hey, we got a show, and then afterwards them saying, oh, you're SonicMTD, right? And I immediately stop and I'm like, you didn't use my actual name, how do you know me? And once the guard goes down, I'm like, oh, this is actually genuinely a nice conversation, because I'm expecting anyone from online coming down to meet me is they're going to kick my ass, because of something I've said or something I've done. And I'm like, no, I'm going to get beaten up because I didn't like Yakuza 3. What is my life?
Oh my god.
So I get it. The one thing I'm going to ask, because you are in the state of California, how are you dealing with the climate? Because I know that California kind of has some really extreme weather. It's constantly under fire warning, usually during the summer.
Oh yeah, we're always under fire warning. It's really bad. Sometimes there's like sometimes within just the span of a month we'll have like 4 different fires during the summer. It gets pretty obnoxious, I'm not gonna lie. It's just because our weather is so dry, it's not humid. So there's too many places that just burn incredibly easily, especially from like between, like I said, like you've got like the Mojave, the AV, then you've got like the Valley, you've got like Santa Clarita, San Jose, stuff like that, and then you've got like Los Angeles. Is just like between all of that, it's just valley. So when it's summertime, it's always burning, barely any wind. So fires are literally everywhere, and people are crazy. So
yeah,
people are always just kind of doing whatever.
But I'm actually like genuinely kind of surprised, because little bit about me. My parents divorced when I was 2. My mom brought me out to Vancouver, British Columbia, which is way out on the west coast. It's the closest city I would compare it to, just geographically, would be Seattle. but
okay.
it's still located on that side, which gets the Pacific Ocean, and as a result, we get warm, sort of swampy weather that kind of prevents us from getting winter. Which I'm genuine, like humid all the fucking time, but I'm genuinely surprised that California doesn't get that sort of humid transfer over from the natural body of water that it's right on the border with, right? Like I would have assumed
That's fair, yeah.
that they would have picked up that condensation and then bring it back down. Normally, like towards, I would want to say, the middle portion of the United States would probably be where you would see droughts. Like Texas, for me,
Right.
that would make complete fucking sense because it's located right in the center, on top of near the equator as well, near Central America. So I'm like, okay, that would make sense. But California, for me, that kind of just blows my mind that it doesn't get that.
Yeah, it's like
humidity
never
transfer.
human. Yeah, we also have a lot of fucking smog too. So, I mean,
Well, Los
I don't know.
Angeles.
Los Angeles, yeah, there's
Yeah.
a lot of smog. It's pretty bad.
Whenever you have something that is based upon media and entertainment, you will have no choice but to deal with smog and pollution.
Oh,
That's just
yeah.
kind of the nature of the beast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
But I will casually say, as someone who grew up, so when I was in high school, I fell in love with the California music scene. Like I was,
yeah.
I was listening to bands like Real Big Fish, Goldfinger, Zebrahead. Meanwhile,
Goldfinger.
I got to see them in 2012. They did a show with like Real Big Fish, Big D at the kids table, and I think like one other band at the Sound Academy. But like California has such an amazing contribution to music. I know sorry, I'm just gushing right now because I'm like the inner music nerd in me. This has nothing to do with you, and I'm so sorry for that. I'm like tangent, but I love music.
No, it's all right.
If you could kind of like go into any sort of field of study, like regardless of, time, money, things like that, what would you probably have done? Because I know you did the EMT stuff because you mentioned that you a friend of the family.
You want to know what I really would have wanted to do?
Yeah.
You want to know what I really would have wanted to do?
If it says
extremely surprising.
If you said OnlyFans, I'm going to go down to California and punch
Dude,
you
no.
in the mouth. Okay.
Dude, fuck no. No. If I could get into any field of study,
Yeah.
it would be paleontology.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
And why particular? Just a fascination with the past, or?
No, just it was an old childhood dream of mine. I really like dinosaurs a lot. Yeah, I still
Jurassic Park. Gotcha. Say no more. Say no more.
do. Yeah, my childhood was it was riddled with a bunch of dinosaur stuff. I used to carry around this little stegosaurus that flipped in and out and he would flip into a globe that showed all these different dinosaurs amongst like the continents on the planet. And I carried that thing from when I was like, I don't know, like 5 all the way to when I was like 12. His name was Dino. And I used to carry him everywhere, even when I got too old to have it.
Do
I don't have it anymore, though.
Oh, I was going to say, because I was just like,
Nah.
Oh, that is a shame.
Yeah, I don't have it anymore. But yeah,
Let's.
I used to be... No, sorry, what were you gonna say?
No, I'm going to jump off into another train of thought. So finish what you were saying, and then we can jump off because I know where I want.
Oh no, that was what
Okay.
that is what I had to say. Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so a little while ago, I can't remember. No, it was Wrath who brought it up to me. He sent me a message, and he said, "Hey, Sonic, you do voice acting, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I do it for YouTube. I just do it for funsies. Why? What do you got?" Kuro might need voice actors for something, and I'm like, Kuro needs voice actors for what?
Oh yeah,
Yeah. and I'm very curious type of person, and I just looked at Wrath and I'm like, all right, I'm just letting you know, if you need me to voice me getting railed, I can do it.
Oh my God.
I just need to ask. I need to ask my roommates to leave the apartment, because then I get nervous.
Oh my fucking God.
To which I immediately responded like, no.
I actually did just get into I got into it about 2 weeks ago. A server that actually does casting calls for voice acting projects and stuff, because I wanted to see if I could get into doing some not safe for work voice acting myself. I was looking to see if I was able to do it. So yeah, I was I was a little late on the call for the last one, but hopefully the next time they have an open project, I'll be able to do it. I'm trying to see if I can get into doing some voice acting for like femboy stuff, but we'll see.
Well, you have a very natural, good sounding voice for femboy stuff without immediately making me sound like a creep. But let's very briefly. I am trying my best to be on my best behavior. God damn it.
Give in. Give in.
No.
You cannot resist me much longer. You cannot resist much longer.
I am a paragon of virtue, God damn it. A paragon.
Bullshit you are, you bottom.
Oh, also, Shy Guy, I see what you asked. My favorite dinosaur is Therizinosaurus. They call it the tickle chicken. It's, I think they actually added it in the last Jurassic Park movie.
Therizinosaurus?
Yeah, it's got like it's got these extremely long claws. It's got like
I'm
3
looking
foot
at
claws.
it right now. Okay.
Oh, the last movie. The last movie. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
That's my favorite dinosaur. I was actually so hyped when I saw that they added it to fucking Jurassic Park. Strike a pose, break Sonic's foot. No, Rav.
God damn it, Rav. Paragon of virtue, not looking.
No, you are not. You have your bottom corner of abiotic factor.
I am holding your virtue intact. No, yeah, no. The thing is that so you wanted to get into doing voice acting. First of all, good idea is checking out not just Discord, but I might recommend, like, if you can find out, especially with you being located in California, see if there's any like voice acting workshops or anything like that, because you'd be surprised how certain things kind of transfer in. If you go in for maybe even improv, might be a good way to sort of expand your knowledge and just sort of trying and playing around with some of the things in your toolkit. So outside of the lewd space, though, what made you want to do voice acting, and why? Then we'll go into why specifically lewd stuff, because when I originally tried looking up your name, I accidentally fucked it up and I typed in Kuro Night, and that brought up a ASMR Spanish YouTuber, and I'm like, wait, this isn't the right person.
Damn.
I do research.
That's funny.
But what made you want to do voice acting primarily, and what made you want to go towards the not safe for work category?
Well, when it comes to like just voice acting in general and stuff, I think primarily I just felt like it was again, I do know some people that actually do a lot of voice acting. Actually, have you met Red? I don't know if you've met Red. He's one of my best friends. He
I don't think I've.
He does voice acting all the time. He's been in a bunch of projects. He's even like the commander in Project Wingman, and he's
no
been
way.
In
they're in
lot
Project
of stuff.
Wingman.
Project Wingman, yeah.
Yeah, I have that game on Steam. I'm like, I need to replay that now.
I think every time every time Red was on one of your streams, and every time I tried to.
Sorry. Well, no. You continue, Wrath. Go for it.
Like, I don't think they have met, because every time that when Red is like in your stream, and I try to grab Sonic and Sonic finally shows up, Red freaking disappears. So I don't think he's even heard of Red's voice or even saw him
Okay, yet. I see. Yeah, Red is fairly impressive. He just Well, the only reason why he lost was because of I forgot what his name is, but the guy who's voiced Spike Spiegel in Cowboy Bebop was the only reason why he didn't get that role. He was
Steve
trying
Blum?
to audition to Steve Blum.
Blum?
Yeah, was it Steve Blum?
Yeah,
I'm
Steve
pretty
Blum.
sure
Yeah, Stephen
Steve
Blum.
Yeah, because he was trying to get into this game called Sushi Ben, and he was auditioning for it. And if it wasn't for, I'm pretty sure it was Steve Blum. It was some big name was the only reason why he didn't get the part.
Yeah.
Because they basically were about to hand the role over to him. But he's like always trying to get hired for some stuff. He almost ended up getting into Niji Sanji before all that controversy happened too, because he was gonna play like this space captain freaking VTuber. It was really cute, but yeah. He's done a lot, but he's kind of one of the main reasons why I even went, whoa.
Yeah, your
He's
leg
one of the
just
main reasons
glitched
why.
the fuck out. Just snapped
Yeah.
your pelvis in half like a fucking wishbone. No, yeah, okay, yep. Anyway,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm trying to focus on the interview questions here.
Focus more on her.
Here's
I mean, why wouldn't you? Why can't you focus on the interview questions? What's so hard about that?
that is fair. So you're planning on showing up to a furry convention. That's not the point. The point is that I've been to a couple conventions such as Anime North that's out in Canada, and they are starting to finally have more programming that is going towards VTubers. Actually, they had like a quote unquote VTuber meet and greet where they would have the actor sort of away from where all of that is, but they have like an interactive sort of LCD screen that would engage sort of live on the ground with fans, with people that are interested. Would you ever be like possibly interested in like not necessarily being a guest per se at a convention, but bringing yourself into the convention space possibly, like maybe as
Oh
a
yeah,
moderator?
absolutely. I've been more interested in like going to conventions and stuff as of recently too. Not just with the shabackle of me going out in May to this whole furry con thing, but I've been wanting to go out to more cons and stuff like that because of the last couple of years, me not really being able to do that. It's a lot easier for me at this moment in time, at least, to start planning to head to cons and stuff. So I'm trying to look at all of my options when it comes to exploring different things, not just with like the voice acting thing, but just like getting out into that space entirely. I'm looking more into it now. I'm there's a lot of things that I want to do in the coming, even with the second like quarter of this year. I'm prepared to start doing a lot of things a little out of my comfort zone. But then again, I can't really say that because there's nothing I feel like I would be too uncomfortable doing. I'm pretty much ready to do just about anything,
Yeah, I dig it. Very laid back California answer.
I mean, what do you expect?
Pretty much. Were you? Here's the question: were you always in California, or were you like somewhere else and then moved in and then spend a huge chunk of your life type of situation?
Nah, I've pretty much always been in California. Literally California, born and raised.
I'm trying my best to figure out what kind of... Oh, yeah. So if you don't mind me asking, what did I send my vocal take for? What were you trying to get off the ground, if you're willing to possibly...
Oh yeah, that's right. That I honestly, it's just on the side burner for now because of some of the other stuff that's popped up in the background. We'll get back to that probably fairly soon. But it was I was trying to get people to audition for some roles that I had because I wanted to do like the whole thing for the Monster Girl 101 classes I was doing. I had a bunch of stuff set up for it, but I wanted to make it more of like not really like a series, but kind of have it as like I wanted to have like some skits that went along with like some of the information I was actually trying to like draw out for the whole series and stuff. I wanted to make it very like, I don't know if you're aware of like a YouTuber by the name of like Steely Sam. He's also a guy who does like tabletop stuff, and he promotes a lot of tabletop games.
I do not know him, but I will look him up right now. You said his name is Steely what?
It's Steely Sam.
Okay.
And so he does a lot of like people ask him a lot of questions of like lore for D&D and things like that. So he ends up talking a lot about the gods and the monsters and the places and stuff like that. And I kind of was a little inspired to do that, something similar or in the same vein, but with Monster Girl stuff. I also kind of wanted to do a little series of you chose this monster girl as your girlfriend. This is what you need to know, kind of thing. So it's like that kind of thing. It's primarily what I've been trying to work on in the background too. Because I'd like to get I'd like to get my own YouTube channel off of the ground. I haven't really done much for YouTube, but I feel like it's what I'm leaning more towards right now. It would be a lot easier on me as well.
I think YouTube is going to be a difficult thing that will require you to transition a little bit. And the reason for that is I've always considered YouTube to be an extension of local cable access television, right? So having things that are primarily a little bit more adult themed, even though you don't have anything that contains nudity, as far as I know, it might be something where you might run afoul of the
That's
YouTube
totally fair,
algorithm looking at you standing there going, well, this might contain adult themes or suggestive themes, and as such it might be difficult to get picked up and to advertise and to show that out to other people. So that might be a little bit of a hard sell. You might have to change things, but I think it could be possible if you do want to eventually go, because I know that there's a lot of VTuber channels on YouTube that get like some semi-decent views, whether that is like ASMR or whether that is gaming or whether that is, I don't know, VRChat type of stuff, so to speak. So
right.
Right.
I wanted to test the waters, and I'll start with some shorts and stuff first, and then we'll see where we go. As far as like long form content, I didn't really have a plan for it just yet, but it's all stuff that I just kind of want to try my hand at some things, see where it goes.
I will say, as someone who's been using the platform for a really fucking long time, I find that what is really getting picked up are the YouTube shorts, like having content that is usually under about a minute or so, and that you get hundreds more views compared to something that I might have worked on like months and months, writing, editing, getting out there. You have to really put your ass to the bone to market it for you, because YouTube might not be able to promote you unless you're constantly putting stuff out. Kind of like how you were talking about Twitch. Like, it's like, oh, are you consistently releasing? Well, if you're not,
right?
Yeah. So fun times.
It's kind of sad. I miss the long form content version of YouTube, because I like to watch a lot of longer videos and stuff like that.
Well, they're still being made.
Yeah, I don't know. There's still a lot of channels I like to watch, like channels like Super Eye Patch Wolf or like
awesome,
like
I was just about to I was about to recommend him and FD Signifier.
I'm not aware of FD Signifier.
So FD Signifier is a black man from Atlanta, Georgia, who is friends with Super Eye Patch Wolf. And they make, like, every once in a while, Super Eye Patch Wolf will show up and lend his voice or lend his talent into a video. But he primarily focuses on topics concerned with black audiences, primarily, right? He originally did a video on, I think it was Black Panther, and he was talking about it from the perspective of a black person and dissecting the themes and what certain things meant. And as me, who, reviews content, I review video games, I review movies, I'm like, I never in a million years would have had any of the takes that he has. And so because of he had such a very unique, very key sort of way of getting into videos and being able to give that perspective, I'm like, I want to listen to this person more because he is filling in way more than my translucent white ass can ever put to terms. So he recently just did, I think he did like a 4-hour video dissecting the problems with Tyler Perry as a
oh God.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's, but once again,
that already makes me kind of want to watch him. You said it's SD signifier?
Give me a second. It's FD signifier, I believe.
FD signifier.
Yeah, it's FD signifier. But yeah,
have I seen him before?
I wouldn't be surprised if you saw him in passing.
I feel like I have.
You probably have, but the dude is just fucking exploded over the past little while. Also, congratulations on, because you mentioned this in one of your chats, but you finally have gotten a video editor.
No, I got another video editor. It's a friend of mine. I actually didn't know that he started editing for streamers. He started making compilation clips for people. So
that's a great way to get discovered as well, making like a supercut of some of your best stuff and just making it short and bringing it out into the public. So
yeah. That's his name is Gio. He's been doing that for 2 years now. I honestly had no idea. I've known him for a while, mostly through some other friends of mine in social spaces, but I've known him for a long time. I just talked to him about that a couple weeks ago, and he agreed to make some compilation clips for me. That was I actually wasn't even thinking about that, but yeah.
Sorry, once again, I had your video on, and I was just listening to the audio, and I'm like, oh, that's a great idea to ask Kuro about. Write that down.
Interesting.
So
I wasn't doing anything sus on that last stream, was I?
Camera angles. That's about it. Camera angles and flirting with the people in the chat, obviously.
That's usually. I mean, that's par
of the course.
Usual thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just kind of how it goes. Especially because Wrath is always trying to. If there's a camera angle thing, it's usually his fault because he's like one of the only people that ever was requesting certain things like that. So that's his fault.
The only thing I know about Wrath's kinks so far is that he's got a thing for goblins, and I'm like,
oh, dude, he's got a thing for fucking everything. To be honest, it's not even just goblins; it's literally everything. The only reason why he's posting all those goblins now is because I changed over to a goblin. Because before that, it was bunny girl this and bunny girl that, and freaking bunny girl boobies all over the freaking place.
Bunny.
I mean, there is nothing. Yeah. There is nothing wrong with a gob who slobs on your knob like it's their job. Okay. Stay tuned
I do like slobbing on knobs.
Stay tuned for my mixtape. The best of the 4chan D board. Anyway, we are. I'm kind of running out of questions, and we're at like a chill vibe. I think the server is definitely helping because I'm just sort of vibing out. Let's.
The only grown man I've ever seen who asked Kuro to tuck him in. Yeah, that's literally every night. Honestly,
hey,
he's always asking me to tuck him in.
There's nothing wrong with that asking for a good tucky. All right,
there's a lot wrong with that.
Hey,
to be honest,
being tucked in is a soothing experience.
How?
I don't know. It just soothes me for some reason.
I think
it's because you're a baby. That's why.
I think
baby.
I think if I were to weigh in legitimate opinion, not me making fun of Wrath, I think there's something wrong with the idea of what is it? Dudes being able to show any kind of like. Not even submissive, but like more vulnerable expressions of love and familiarity. Like when you like cry and they say, "Oh, you should man up," type of situation. I'm like, what's wrong with telling your homies
Well,
good
I am
night?
against that. I am against that. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I think I think it's the way that he goes about it that just seems
Sus, a little sus.
it's not even that it's sus. It's just goofy. Like it's just
I mean,
it just makes me laugh, honestly. I don't know. I just can't see it that way. I know when like people want to be like, teased or whatever, and I get that. Don't get me wrong. I'm pretty sure you can assume that I'm familiar with that kind of thing, but at the same time it's like the way that he goes about it is it's just such a goofy thing. I don't know.
Like I'm about to go to sleep, and I want to say goodbye, but I don't want to just say, all right, I'm going to bed, bye. And I'm like, you know what, Kuro, tuck me into bed, please. Can you just tuck me into bed?
Does that not come on?
Tuck me into bed, Kuro. Come on, I need give me tuckies, please.
Out of well,
You
first
see
of
what
all,
I'm talking about,
calling
like-
yeah. First things first, calling it Tuckies immediately is just like not even red flag, just like, dude, what the fuck?
Exactly.
Like you don't go up to a girl who's taller than you and say, "Give me uppies," not unless you absolutely for sure know them, right? So
Exactly.
So-
Exactly.
I dig that. So I'm running out of questions. I think probably because it's getting near my bedtime. But let me ask you, where do you want to go in terms of like your channel growth? Like, where do you see yourself going? Because you mentioned getting into some voice acting stuff. You mentioned you're still doing your my god, it slipped my goddamn mind. I want to say like dating monster girls, but I'm like, no, that's not right. But it is right, but that's not right.
It is. That is right. That's right. It's just about right.
So where do you possibly, like, where do you want to grow and expand towards if you possibly can within the next little while? Where do you see yourself going?
Honestly, I think the best thing for me to do is to get more experience with like trying to do the voice acting thing, and then also just kind of going forward with like doing the YouTube short thing while also being able to like consistently stream. And I know that realistically, I would probably have to cut at least a day out of like how I normally stream, because I normally stream about like 4 days out of the week. I'd probably have to cut it down to 3 and then work on the other things. But like I think as far as the direction of where my channel's going, I think it would be more of like I want to get more of the Monster Girls side of things off the ground for the channel, like get that to be consistent, and then like have everything else kind of be secondary. So like the voice acting and just kind of like the chilling out on stream with everybody and stuff like that, I think that's kind of where I'm at with that, where I like those things to take kind of a backseat to me working on like the Monster Girl stuff, and like primarily trying to do like YouTube shorts and then couple that with like streaming on Twitch. Mostly I want to see where it all goes, because I've been doing this for a long time, and it feels like my channel hasn't had like a dedicated focus, but I would like it to. And so like that's kind of where my idea for things is right now.
I'm going to ask the people in the chat. I'll say it both verbally and typed, but does anyone else have questions that they would like to ask Kuro while we have the chance? And I will.
I have a question.
No. Does anyone else have questions? No. Okay.
I wonder what that question could be.
I'm going to
I wonder.
immediately regret this, aren't I? Okay, Wrath. What is your question?
When can we expect the next glorious Kuro stream on Twitch?
I like how you had to specify on Twitch. Let's see. Today is Thursday, so most likely, I'd say next Tuesday or Wednesday. I will let you know. We'll just say Wednesday for now, just to put it further out. How does that sound?
Amazing. I'll mark it down on the calendar.
Shy Guy is asking, what is the latest new song you've been listening to?
The latest new song I've been listening to.
Yeah.
And that's kind of funny. I've been listening to a lot of Panic at the Disco lately, but I don't know. I guess it's not new, but I've been listening to High Hopes like on repeat. if that's anything.
High Hopes. Oh, right.
I love that
the
song.
Brendan Urie song. Okay. No, I went old school for a second because instead of going with that song, I was like, he's got high hopes. He's got
Oh, you're
high
thinking of
apple. Yeah,
No,
I immediately
no.
went there and I'm like,
I'm talking
wait,
about
no,
Panic at
that's
the
not
Disco.
right. That's not right at all.
What is wrong with you?
Many things. Many things is wrong with me.
You're getting distracted, but not distracted enough. Kuro,
Oh
hit
my
him.
god.
I'm either going to be
What?
I'm either
Hit 'em.
Yeah. I'm either going
Hit him
to
with
be
O's.
gunned down by police or the next prime minister of Canada. One of the two. I haven't decided yet.
The next. Oh my god.
It's going to happen. I did
I like
not
those shoes.
I did not plan on going down this road, but it is only those two choices. Shy Guy asks, who or what inspires you?
What inspires me? Who or what inspires me? More like, I guess what inspires me is kind of just being able to make like something out of nothing, I guess. And what I mean by that is like I spent a lot of my life kind of running around trying to figure out exactly what it is that I wanted to do while staying afloat and just kind of trying to survive. But I think there are things that I am genuinely passionate about, and there's a lot of things that I feel are like undiscovered about myself. So I guess what kind of drives me to go forward is just to kind of figure out where I can build solidarity in a way that I can be comfortable with. And, you know, if I can make some other people comfortable too, then I'm all the merrier for it. So I guess being able to be around you guys and really cool people that I can feel completely myself with. And that's kind of where I'm at.
I'm glad you're able to vibe out. I will ask a question because once again I am primarily a game reviewer. That's kind of my bread and butter. I was trying to get on to like GameSpot, IGN, those people back in the day.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, I'm starting to show my age just a little bit. But what games are you currently playing, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh my god. Let's see. What games am I currently playing right now? A lot. I just got that Scott Pilgrim X game that came out like yesterday. I'm also playing Night Rain, regular Elden Ring 2, Shin Megami Tensei 5. That's actually my favorite game. I've gone back to play that game because
that's a lot.
I wanted to beat. What do you mean?
Well, I mean, no, that's
a lot.
That's a lot in terms of like different styles because like going from like Elden Ring to Shin Megami Tensei to you have so is it, I'm trying to remember, is it a remake of the Scott Pilgrim game? Because I remember playing.
No, it's a new one. It's a new one.
Is it like
Yeah.
is it still a side scrolling
It's a
beat 'em up?
brand new one. It's still a side-scrolling beat 'em up.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's got a brand new plot. It actually has. It's not a plot based on any of the comics either.
Oh,
Because I actually own all the. Yeah, this is, and not only that, it actually takes place. So Brian Lee O'Malley, when the last animation came out, like the last like Scott Pilgrim like official kind of
Yeah, yeah.
continuation of like, you know,
the one that was on Netflix.
this, right, exactly. This game is actually canon. It takes place after that.
the events. Okay. Okay, now I'm intrigued. Now I want to.
Because Brian Lee O'Malley he's the one that actually directed the game too. So you should, if you're a fan of Scott Pilgrim, you should absolutely play it.
If you don't mind me asking, because you mentioned that Shin Megami Tensei 5 is currently your favorite game.
That is my favorite game. Yes.
So I played the Persona franchise. I not that I intentionally avoided Shin Megami Tensei, but it was one of those series where it's just like, hey, if you don't walk in with a walkthrough, you are fucked.
It is S&T is typically a lot harder than Persona, and I can tell you because I'm a fan of Persona too. I've gone back and played from Persona Innocent Sin, the very first one, all the way up until 5. So I've played all of them. But yeah, because those are my favorite games. But like S&T, Persona, those are my favorite games. But like SMT is genuinely just a lot harder than Persona. It kind of is. It's a little like brain racking. I'm trying to unlock Godhood mode on 5 right now, which is has one of like, at least from the community rankings, is one of the hardest fights throughout the entire series, which is Satan.
Is it still is it still turn-based like Persona is, or are there like...
It is turn-based, yeah.
Okay. And
it is.
I'm trying to remember as well, because I'm trying to remember the very basics of what I know about Shin Megami Tensei. Doesn't it take place in like an apocalyptic kind of setting, or was that just one game in particular?
So they kind of do the how do I say it? Like every continuity of S&T is different. Just kind of like how Final Fantasy is never really like the same core continuing story. It's always like in a different place. Gotcha. But the gods and the monsters and things like that are always the same. It's the same thing for S&T, where it's always an apocalyptic setting. However, the protagonist, the characters involved, and like, all of that those are different, but the demons themselves are always the same. So SMT5 very much has a lot of the older demons, and then it has like newer ones, because all the demons in SMT are based on like real world, like mythologies and gods, deities, things like that. Mm-hmm.
I have another question.
Okay,
what's that?
With all the new games and stuff coming out this year, and technically last year, do you plan on doing any VTubing gaming streams in the future?
Possibly. I did think about that. That was something that I did. I used to do it like every Friday for a little while.
I know you did it I know you did it a few times, because I think your VR set was down for a little bit.
And I kind of fell off on streaming that, because I was trying to make sure that I was consistent with like streaming like VRChat. But yeah, those things did fall off. I did have a lot of fun playing games and stuff like that on stream too. So I would bring them back. What's really funny? There is a game that I recently have played that I didn't mention, because it's a little embarrassing, because I don't really play games like that all the time. But there's this game I've been playing called Sinspire. That game is really fun, but it is a lewd game.
Okay. I mean, I'm one.
I could recommend another game.
Oh,
no,
God.
In that same vein. In that same vein.
Is it like Feet Sniffer?
No, it's that robot one
come
that
on.
You're playing. It's that robot.
It's called My Dystopian Robot Girlfriend.
Oh, I've seen that game.
I have played.
You're weird though. That's the one where you pick her up out of the trash or something, and she doesn't have like arms and legs or something.
All right. Yeah. So listen. Listen. All right.
You're weird.
I don't know. It kind of sounds like Chobits now.
Those kind of games.
Listen.
It's Chobits, but it's not wholesome.
Oh no.
No, wait. All right. I'm gonna have to stop you. No. I'm gonna have to stop you right there. I'm gonna have to stop you right there. All right. Listen, Kuro. Listen. I have put 20 hours into this game, and that should tell you something, all right?
Yeah, it tells me that you're weird.
One of his hands is more muscular than the other. Anyway.
Exactly.
No, because
the Quagmire scene.
It literally has a wholesome story. Believe it or not, it has a wholesome story, because you're taking care of this android, all right? That in a world where
you're taking care of her.
In a world in which these kind of androids are currently banned, and she kind of gains sentience.
Okay.
And you're sort of teaching her, how to be human, essentially. And she starts asking like these very philosophical questions and stuff. And
Right.
Like,
Right. You know,
at what?
that's all
and at-
cool and stuff, but it's massively undermined by the fact that you like, like, you know, you know what I mean?
I guess.
It's kind of like undermined by, I mean, like,
Not really.
yeah,
Not really.
it kind of, when like the first thing you do is like pull her out of the trash and then you take her home and she has no arms and legs and you just bang her on your couch.
Wait, that happens?
Like, that's why I said it was weird. That's why I said it was weird, okay?
Because I was immediately assuming...
That's why I said it was weird.
I would immediately assume that, like, okay, cool, where I'm going to put this person back together, and then...
You do. You do.
No.
And then
you earn money to give her.
lewd
Yeah,
stuff
give her-
happens
you-
after.
Okay, yeah, you do put her back together, but no, you just, like, bang her and then she wakes up. And you just, like, pull her out of the trash.
The game
and
The game randomizes whether she has arms or legs.
Oh my god, he's like, what?
Yeah. we're
Oh
beyond
my
the pale
God.
right now.
Yeah,
But like there's like a certain scene in the game in which you take her out for like you take her out into the world for the very first time, and you come back and she like literally stops at the door and asks you, like, hey, so I've been saw like a couple of people with like kids and stuff, and was like, don't you want to have kids? And your character at that point's like, I really don't need to because I have you. And that's
You're
all I need
fired.
right now.
You're
I'm fired.
You're
I am not
super
fired.
Look, I have dealt with weirder. I have dealt with worse. Considering what people have told me about certain games, I'm going to give Wrath the benefit of the doubt because it is nowhere near as bad as some of the 4chan Flash games that were
That's fair.
that were around at the time where I was using 4chan. I'm just like, okay, you know what? I can deal with this.
I mean, I've seen some pretty fucked up stuff too, so it's just I just find it to be funny. Look, it's not really that it's not really that the game is like even that bad. Like in the sense of like hentai game, that's not bad. It's tame. I think it's funny though if you're gonna come and tell me, oh, this game has like such philosophical points and things like that, but it's like the first thing is like I pulled this sex ball out of the gutter and like banged her on my couch, and now we're talking about Mozart. Like, what the fuck? I'm not gonna be like, oh my god, you're such an intellectual.
So
for playing this game. Like, no.
your issue was the pacing, is what I'm hearing. It's just like, no, we got to dessert before we started the main full course meal.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
exactly. It just kind of undermines it, I guess. I don't know.
Because the game is like essentially choose your own adventure. You can choose to be like see this android as nothing as a means to make money or an actual companion.
All right, well, let me ask you what you chose. What did you choose?
I actually chose her to be an actual companion.
Yeah, I would.
What did you do? What did you do in the first
Poor
first
mercenary.
like
Poor
what did you do
mercenary
in like
person.
the first couple of scenes? Like, what did you do?
The first couple of scenes? Well, the first couple of scenes is the tutorial, essentially.
Okay, I mean, duh. I mean, like when you brought her home.
But past that, as soon as she started talking, I started like, holding her hand, giving her head pats, freaking kissing her, talking to her a lot.
Feels
and
like
that
he's adopted a cat.
And that increases her empathy level, in which she then, one, it changes your attitude, and then two, it changes her attitude, and you start looking at each other differently, in a good way.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Do you think kissing me and petting me increases my empathy level?
Oh dear lord!
I have never petted you or kissed you, so I wouldn't know.
Well,
where's the button where I throw myself into the fire?
I just wanted to ask a question. I wanted to know what you actually thought about that.
Like, if that would work on you? No.
Of course it wouldn't fucking work on me.
Anyway,
I mean, it would work on you.
Thank you, Fish Slap Republic, for the follow. Yeah.
Fish Slap.
I'm going to say,
You know, I've been sitting here this whole time, and I actually haven't followed you yet either.
oh,
But now how?
thank you.
So now that means that now that I'm following you, you do know what that means, right?
I have to consistently be making stuff on Twitch now, as opposed to rarely.
Well, no, I mean that's up to you. I was
Oh.
just gonna say, like, if I see you live and stuff, I'll raid you periodically.
Hey,
I didn't. I mean,
I very much would like that compared to, well, I do have people that watch me, but ever since I stopped streaming as often as I did, because like originally before I did the whole VTuber avatar thing, I was streaming fairly actively. Like I would do Dark Souls 3, but every single time my character died, I would do like part of the One Punch Man workout where I would just do like, okay, I died, I have to do 10 push-ups, or I died, I have to do 10 sit-ups and stuff like that. So like
I've done that before too.
surprisingly, I did not get buff. I still look like a twig. Like you could snap me in half and I'm either tossed into the ravine or like some raver is going to use me as a glow stick. That is how fucking scrawny I am now. But anyway, I would like to say,
Unfortunate.
well, I'm starting to gain muscle now because of my work, but I'm going to casually say, Kuro, thank you so much for agreeing to sit down and having this interview. It has been a pleasure, and I hope that we can chat and possibly do something like this again. If not, I'm still going to be around
absolutely.
in the server, so, you know, just don't be a stranger. Fish Slap Republic, very briefly, but did you go heating or air conditioning, because that was part of his training too? What? Did you go without heating or air conditioning because that was part of his training too? What does that mean?
Oh, he's talking about for Saitama, he went without heating or air conditioning when he was going through the training.
Well, so my bedroom at the time that I was streaming had no heating or air conditioning whatsoever. So it's not that it, like, my dad had it, but he was renovating the house, and so my bedroom was at the very top floor away from everything. Like, it was getting vents, but it wasn't enough to actually bring heating and air into it. So like during the summer, I would basically just be walking around in boxers, and then during winter I'm like, I need more layers. I need to do everything I can so I don't freeze to death. So, but anyway, yeah, once again, thank you, Kuro, for joining. Let's do this again. Thank you so much to the people that are that have stayed with me to the end. I hope you all have a wonderful evening. And thank you, Wrath, for being moderately safe for work in this live stream. This is a first for you. You get.
I was very surprised by that as well.
I know.
What, you think I was just gonna immediately like somehow jump through the headset and just start going plap 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 plap?
Okay. Well,
He managed to hold off to the end, at least. He managed to hold off to the end.
There it goes.
But I'm going to end it right here. Hey, everybody. My name is Matthew Tyler DeLeo, better known as SonicMTD. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, follow. Have yourself a wonderful evening. And I will see you later. Later days.
Have a good night.